Auburn Blitz is now on the air, your daily look into what's happening in Auburn athletics. With your hosts, Andy Graham, Brett Pritchard, Randy Lee, War Eagle.
Hello, everybody. Welcome into the Auburn Blitz here on this Tuesday. We're glad that you've joined us. Brett and Randy here with you for an hour, and we'd love to hear from you. Get your calls in, get your comments in. Our program brought to you by Russell Do It Center and Building Supply Stores, J.A. Smith Construction and Excavation, and Sensor Green for air that's cool and clean. Call Sensor Green, the carrier experts here in the state of Alabama. A ton to dive into. We talked about it on the podcast this morning, Randy. We'll get your thoughts on and my thoughts on the game last night, the national championship game, as Florida finally gets the SEC back over the hump with a national championship. Sure was hoping that would be us, but nevertheless, it was not, and so we move on and. We'll talk about that game, talk about where Auburn sits with their roster. That's really the most important thing we want to talk about here on the show today is what does this look like, because this transfer portal thing's changing by the second right now. All these guys are trying to lock down where they're going. I know Kentucky's picked up a couple of really big players today. One being from Alabama. We'll talk about that here in just a little bit. Who will come back on this Auburn team, who has an opportunity to come back, who might get in the portal, all that good stuff. We'll have some information on spring football practice. I'll be back over there on Thursday, and we'll see how that plays out as we get ready to go into A-Day. So a lot to talk about here.
Well, great game last night. It's a great place to start. You and I kind of had a back and forth on the podcast this morning on whether we like to see Florida win that national championship, or as an SEC fan, is it easy to cheer against the SEC? And the answer is yes on both of those. But the further we get away from it, the happier I am that the SEC gets over the hump, adds another trophy to the case, but more importantly, takes advantage of an unbelievable year and gets the SEC a national champion. You know, you get 14 teams into the tournament, 7 teams into the Sweet 16, 2 of the 4 teams into the Final Four. Unfortunately, both of those 2 teams having to play one another to move to the championship game. And Florida plays about as poorly offensively as I think that basketball team can play. Now, Houston had a lot to do with that, with their defensive effort and their strength and how good they were on the perimeter defending. But when you look down at the stat totals, you've held Florida to 39% from the field. You held Florida to 25% from behind the three-point arc. Really the only thing that Florida really did a pretty good job of on the offensive end is they dished assists. Right. They did way more than double up what you saw in assists for Houston. 14 assists for Florida last night, only 5 for Houston. This was, a tough basketball game for them to get over, but, Brett, they found a way to win 3 games that were tough here in this tournament.
Yeah, dodged the UConn bullet, the Texas Tech bullet, the Auburn bullet, and now this one, really 4.
Yeah, true.
They had 4 games that
Heck, I'm not even really counting the Auburn one. The other 2, Auburn was up at half, but the other 2, they had those 2 games. I mean, they were done. They were done.
Texas Tech
had them beat. Texas Tech had them. They were up by 8 with 2 minutes left.
I think so.
I mean, gosh, it's not allowed when you got a great player like Walter Clayton Jr., but he scored 17 in that game in the final 5 minutes. I think that was the total. Now, last night he has 0 in the first half. He comes back with 11 in the second. Right. It's nowhere near that 17 and 5, but still he has found ways to close games out here in this tournament.
Yeah, I'm going to take another. Yeah, Florida did what they had to do at the end of the game. I said it on the podcast this morning, though. They had that game. Houston had that game pulled out from under them. And again, we don't try to get on here and bash officials and talk about that, but it was horrifically called in the second half. First of all, they missed a blatant goaltend. I mean, the people in the top row of the Alamo Dome saw that. And so I don't know how, they review every daggum thing under the sun. How do you not go back and look at that, that potential game-changing play right there because look at the score. And I said it to y'all in about halftime. I said, boy, I wonder if that's going to come back to haunt anybody. Well, guess what? Ended up being a 2-point game. And the discrepancy in the fouls, this is where I'm going with this. It was 7-1 in favor of Florida. Florida had 7 fouls to 1 Houston foul. And then all of a sudden, it was 11-7 in about a 3 to 4 minute span. And with about 11 minutes to go in the game, both teams were in the bonus. But Houston had gone from not fouling anybody to committing 10 fouls in a row to Florida's none. I mean, you set a tone as an official for how you're going to allow the game to be played, and the teams have to adjust to that. But when you come out and go from the fastest first half maybe ever, because there were no fouls called, to every little touch foul being called, I mean, you just really disrupt the flow. And then Houston turned around. They had 4 guys in immediate foul trouble. It changes the way you attack the game.
Well, it does. It changes the conversations you've had at halftime, and the way that you're going to come out and play the second half has to change mid-stride there in the second half. And you look at the free throw totals, and they're not obscene for either team, but you've got to take into account that the first half, I think there were 4 fouls called. And so
how do you call 4 fouls in the first half, and then in a span of 7 minutes, you call 18, 7 for Florida and 11 for Houston?
Well, I don't think the style of play changed that drastically.
Ridiculous, man. Just a total botch by the officials in a national championship game where you got 2 teams busting their rear end. And I thought the first half was well played by both. Yeah, you could have called some things, but it's a national championship game. You got to let them play. And then all of a sudden you come out of the locker room and Florida's got 7 fouls, and Todd Golden's pissed off and he gets a tech. And then all of a sudden after that, it's, we've been doing this all lopsided. Now let's call every little touch on Houston. And all of a sudden you look up and they've got 11 fouls, 10 unanswered fouls in a half. So, look, I know it's not about that, and I know there were plays to be made by both teams, but you are absolutely oblivious to reality if you don't think that impacted this game.
Crazy to look at these stats, though. This game was so even all the way around. Florida, here's the thing about the SEC this year, and let's go back and let's look at the SEC. I mean, none of us at this point, once you get through the season, you've got to kind of weigh and look and see how your team did and how the SEC did as a whole. Here's the thing about the SEC. Florida had, again, about as bad a game offensively as they could play, but they played so well defensively.
Right.
That they found a way to win this basketball game. And think about how many times this year. Auburn, we're all disappointed we didn't win that game in the semifinal. But think about how many games we won this year doing the same thing Florida did here, Brett, where we didn't have our best on one side of the court or the other, but the other side of the court, because of how tough it is to get through the SEC and how tough all of our schedules are, that once you get into these demanding games where you've got to be able to play physical and you got to be able to make it tough from the perimeter for these teams to get open shots, you're able to do that.
Right.
So, really tip your hat to Florida. This is a Florida team that Walter Clayton Jr., he doesn't play that poorly. He didn't the entire tournament, but he did last night. A lot of it was applied by Houston, but Florida did the same. And then that final possession, that play, my wife asked me this morning, tell me exactly how the play. I said,
he jumped.
I said, Clayton timed it perfect. I said, the cat had a shot at the top. But all he was going to do was shoot it right into the hands of Walter Clayton Jr.
Right.
It was so perfectly defended. But it wasn't just him, Brett. They defended that right wing well. They passed it up to the top of the key. A big came out, defended, kind of like Dylan Cardwell all year. A big came out, defended that well, hit it over on the wing, and Clayton was actually down in the paint.
I saw it, man.
But closed out on the shooter. Mm-hmm. Perfect timing to go up in the air, and he had nothing he could do besides drop the basketball at that point.
And shut the play down.
Condon, with effort, gets on the court with his big 6'7" frame to get the ball. I mean, we all wish we could have been there, and that's the thing about watching that game last night. You realize how close. I know it's easy to say, but Florida was not the world beater that I thought they were in the SEC tournament.
They just happened to be playing their best ball at that time.
But even in this tournament, they didn't really. I mean, Clayton played. He won several
Will Richard
games.
saved Florida last night.
Yeah,
You can say what you want
first
to about,
half.
well, if he don't score, and I've told y'all this from day one, Clayton gets all the praise. Will Richard's the guy all of a sudden that'll hit 4 or 5 threes on you, and that's what he did in the first half to keep it close. If he's not scoring at all, they're getting blown out. This is not a basketball game in the second half. And I'm telling you, it's just one of those deals where you got to be deep enough to where if somebody's getting shut down, somebody else has got to step up and make plays. And that's exactly what Will Richard did. He had 18 points. Condon, who had 1 point against Auburn, had 12. And he had a lot of – I mean, every one of those were dunks, by the way. I mean, every one of them were him getting behind the defense and the guards finding him for a dunk. But he did contribute 12. And then outside of that, it was very much not much to speak of. I mean, Chinyelu had 3. Hall had 5. He shot the ball a bunch, but he didn't make hardly anything. So, they only ended up making 6 threes, 6 of 24, and then Houston was 6 of 25. So they both shot the ball pretty poorly from outside, and they were both wanting to shoot it from outside, and they couldn't get it to fall. So it was a good national championship game. Obviously, you nitpick every single thing about every game. There's some good things about it and some bad things about it, but Florida wins a national championship, and that's twice now Auburn's been to the Final Four and been eliminated by the team that ended up winning the national championship. So up against our first break of the show. Don't go anywhere. More to come right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Looking to transform your outdoor space? Look no further than Bama Sheds. As a family-owned and operated business, we understand your needs. That's why we offer no credit check, rent-to-own options. Enjoy free delivery and setup within 35 miles of our 4 convenient locations. Whether you need a shed, pole barn, garage, or carport, we've got you covered. Visit our website at BamaSheds.com or call 256-268-8484. Bama Sheds, where quality meets affordability and your outdoor dreams become reality.
Presley Appliance and Furniture, located on Cherokee Road in Alexander City, is locally owned and operated with over 35 years of experience in the appliance and furniture business. Specializing in Amana, Whirlpool, KitchenAid, and Ashley Furniture, Presley Appliance services what they sell and will make sure you receive top-notch customer service. Call them today at 256-329-9762 or drop by to see them on Cherokee Road in Alexander City. Presley Appliance and Furniture, where they service what they sell.
This is Kathy Holmes with Pepper Tree Steaks and Wine. Jeff Verner and I opened in East Montgomery 25 years ago and have become the premier butcher shop, wine retailer, and caterer in the River region. We are excited to invite you to our newest location at 2459 East Glen Avenue in Auburn, Opelika. We want to become your one-stop shop for the freshest cuts of meat in town, grab-and-go casseroles, gift items, and the best wine selection in the area. Think of us when catering your next event. Check us out online at steaksandwine.com for daily lunch specials and details on upcoming wine tastings and fun events.
There's only one option for top-of-the-line aftermarket upgrades on your vehicle, and that's Frontline Outfitters. We offer quality parts, lift kits, custom wheels and tires, bed covers, step bars, and toolboxes that are installed by trained and skilled professionals, to custom powder coating with hundreds of colors and finishes, to the highest quality film for window tinting using state-of-the-art film cutting technology. Call Frontline Outfitters at 256-409-8100. Don't be in the back of the line. Put your vehicle at the front with Frontline Outfitters.
Looking for the perfect spot to unwind? Welcome to Bunkers. Our friendly staff and vibrant atmosphere make Bunkers the ultimate hangout space for all ages. With 6 state-of-the-art golf simulator stations, you can play around with friends no matter the weather. Enjoy mouth-watering food and a wide variety of handcrafted mixed drinks. With our attached parking deck, access is always hassle-free. Make your next night out unforgettable at Bunkers.
Adams Motorsports of Montgomery knows it's the best time to ride. Right now, get the best deals on all of our Suzuki and Kawasaki street bikes, side-by-sides, four-wheelers, and dirt bikes. Adams Motorsports has it all, and our inventory is vast. Get out there, ride the streets and trails, and let Adams Motorsports make your pleasure our business. With family customer service and service after the sale. It's time to ride, so come see us on Eastern Boulevard in Montgomery or online at adamsmotorsports.com.
Are you looking for a great deal on a powerful new Chevrolet or GMC full-size truck? Check out the Chevy Silverado and GMC Sierras side by side at Glenn Smith in Opelika. Take your choice of new Chevrolet and GMC 1500 trucks discounted up to $12,000 off. Chevy and GMC heavy-duty trucks discounted up to $7,000 off. Make the savings drive to Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC in Opelika, Alabama. Get ready to smile.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz. 45 minutes left in the show today. Get your calls in, 256-234-6221. You can comment away there on YouTube and Facebook. We'll take those comments as well. Our program brought to you by Russell Dewitt Center and Building Supply Stores, J.A. Smith Construction and Excavation, and Sensa Green for air that's cool and clean. Call on Sensa Green. What does this roster look like? Just kind of an update on where everything is right now. The brother of Abdul Bashir, Abdi Bashir, was up, basically looking at several schools. The Monmouth transfer has announced he's going to go to Kansas State. So one of the top point guards in the country, averaging about 20.1 points a game, shooting it at a high rate. We get his brother from JUCO, Abdul Bashir, who also is 6'7", also put up really, really good numbers there. There's one that was possibly being looked at. Some other news, like Kentucky's kicking people's tail right now. They get Mo Diabate, which I know Luke's not going to be very happy about that because that's one of his favorite players on Alabama's team, but he makes the jump to Kentucky, and so does Jaden Quintanance. I believe that's Jaden Quintanance, the five-star transfer from Arizona State, who Auburn was really looking at too, who had Zoomed with Auburn as well. Had really come down to Kentucky and Auburn, and so Jaden Quintanance goes to Kentucky. So there's two massive pickups for Kentucky here.
Well, you're going to have to compete with them on the money market, buddy. And it looks like Kentucky is spending that money and probably a little disappointed with the stretch of basketball that they've had over the last, 5 or 6 years?
5 to 7 years, yeah.
It just is not it's not that it's bad. It's just not up to the standard that Kentucky expects. It's going to be the feel that you're going to get from Alabama here on the football field if they don't start back winning SEC championships and national championships post Nick Saban.
Hope they don't.
Well, we do too, but I mean, my point is that Kentucky has that high of an expectation, and when Auburn and Alabama are doing what we're doing along with Florida and some other teams here in the SEC are getting to the level that we are, then you're not going, if you've got the option of NIL money, to throw that money around and you're a blue blood, you're not going to let Auburn and Alabama outbid you on guys, because you and I talked to Luke on Saturday. I think the offer that Diabate had at Alabama was very fair. But at a certain point, he was offered something, agreed to it, comes back, asks for more. They renegotiate it, agrees to it, and then a third time, is this my understanding, you and I had a talk with Luke on this on Saturday. He comes back again, and Nate Oates is like, man, I mean, we can't keep doing this.
Right.
We can't do this. And I'm sure that's what went down with Arizona State, is if Auburn, if Bruce Pearl wanted him and Kentucky wanted him, at a certain point in the day and age we're in, probably the one, unless you feel really, really confident, the one that offers the most money is going to get him, Brett. And that's probably what happened here.
Yeah, I think Auburn, look, I don't know how much Axel wants from UAB.
Yeah.
I know he had committed to Michigan, but now it's kind of walked that back. And So we'll see how that plays out. I mean, he deleted the commitment video off of.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens. I don't know.
I missed that.
May stick with Michigan on that, but we'll kind of watch that. But really, things moving at a rapid pace, and Auburn has picked up some good players. Obviously, Keyshawn Hall, the number one power forward in the portal from Central Florida, was a huge pickup there. Got great moves. I mean, you add Abdul Bashir, Simon Walker, Caden Magwood. They're all coming in. Simon and Caden coming in as freshmen. You hope to get Tahad back. He's entered the draft to kind of gauge where his stock is, and so we'll see how that plays out. Chad Baker-Mazara, I feel like, will come back to this team. So that leaves a couple of guys like Ja'Kai Howard and maybe a Chaney Johnson if things can kind of rule in his favor. And then all of a sudden, if you do that and you pick up a really good big man to go with that, your starting five's pretty dang good, man.
It is. The problem with today's game is you watch Florida. Houston didn't have two bigs, but a lot of these teams, including last year and including Auburn this year, man, we had two really good bigs. Defensively, and when they were in the game together, that length is an issue. Florida proved that again this year. And so we may need to go out and get two. I'm not saying
right.
one of them may need to be a premier guy, but you're going to have two bodies. And what Auburn's got returning is not those bodies that we've had down in the post as of recent. So we're going to have to go after some really good guys. But, Brett, let's close out this year real quick before we come back to this. I mean, Auburn won the regular season SEC championship in what may have been the best year of college basketball in this conference ever.
Right.
14 teams go to the NCAA tournament, 7 to the Sweet 16. What did we have? How many in the 4 in the Elite Eight,
right.
2 in the Final Four. So not only did you get the 14 in, but they all performed well once they got there, and then now the national champion. I mean, what an amazing year to go back and to say we won the regular season championship in that conference.
Well,
and
right.
this year it's always important. And I said it to you this morning, I'll say it again. I mean, in comparison to the SEC tournament title, which Auburn won last year, I'm not saying I want to get rid of that banner by no means. I mean, I'm proud that we won that one too. But the regular season title is more impressive to me than that conference championship in the SEC tournament.
Well, 18 games should mean more than 3.
I agree. And so I think that, Auburn being able to go back and look at this, and we also made it to the Final Four for the second time in school history. It's not like we just were chumps meat once we made it to the tournament too. I mean, we
right.
made the Final Four. We're the level of this program has gotten to the point where we were no longer extremely happy to have faltered out in the Final Four. If I'd have told that to you a decade ago, you'd have passed out dead cold right there in that seat.
Now we've changed it to the point where, now it's, man, that ain't, ain't good enough. But
what an amazing year. The SEC regular season champions in the best conference maybe of all time.
Love it.
Ken Palm tells you that it was.
No doubt. The numbers don't lie. And, it means a lot, to be honest with you. Now you look back, and this team set a lot of records and a bunch of different individual superlatives to go with it. So, All right, up against another break. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
For air that's cool and clean, call Sensi Green. For air that's cool and clean, care about the air you breathe, call Sensi Green.
Turn to the experts at Sensigreen and find out how to get up to $1,000 in Carrier Cool Cash rebates. Visit Sensigreen.com today to be worry-free when it comes to your home comfort and indoor air quality.
For air that's cool and clean, care about the air you breathe, call Sensi Green.
This is Kathy Holmes with Pepper Tree Steaks and Wine. Jeff Verner and I opened in East Montgomery 25 years ago and have become the premier butcher shop, wine retailer, and caterer in the River region. We are excited to invite you to our newest location at 2459 East Glen Avenue in Auburn, Opelika. We want to become your one-stop shop for the freshest cuts of meat in town, grab-and-go casseroles, gift items, and the best wine selection in the area. Think of us when catering your next event. Check us out online at steaksandwine.com for daily lunch specials and details on upcoming wine tastings and fun events.
Presley Appliance and Furniture, located on Cherokee Road in Alexander City, is locally owned and operated with over 35 years of experience in the appliance and furniture business. Specializing in Amana, Whirlpool, KitchenAid, and Ashley Furniture, Presley Appliance services what they sell and will make sure you receive top-notch customer service. Call them today at 256-329-9762 or drop by to see them on Cherokee Road in Alexander City. Presley Appliance and Furniture, where they service what they sell.
Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply is your headquarters for all the brands contractors know best. We are your local home improvement store with 9 convenient locations throughout Central Alabama. We have a huge selection of Weber and Traeger, Pelican coolers, Milwaukee and DeWalt tools, and other top brands. No matter the project, we have you covered with our high-quality lumber and building supplies. From do-it-yourselfers to seasoned pros, Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply has what you need to get the job done.
There's only one option for top-of-the-line aftermarket upgrades on your vehicle, and that's Frontline Outfitters. We offer quality parts, lift kits, custom wheels and tires, bed covers, step bars, and toolboxes. They're installed by trained and skilled professionals, to custom powder coating with hundreds of colors and finishes, to the highest quality film for window tinting using state-of-the-art film cutting technology. Call Frontline Outfitters at 256-409-8100. Don't be in the back of the line. Put your vehicle at the front with Frontline Outfitters.
Passion, the obsession that burns within. Determination, the burning desire to make it. Drive, the motivation to be the absolute best. Skills, the tools to perform at the highest level. Excellence, the feeling of achievement. At Central Alabama Community College, you can release your passion, show your determination, display your drive, and showcase your skills to achieve excellence. Central Alabama Community College, central to you, central to your success.
Looking for the perfect spot to unwind? Welcome to Bunkers. Our friendly staff and vibrant atmosphere make Bunkers the ultimate hangout space for all ages. With 6 state-of-the-art golf simulator stations, you can play around with friends no matter the weather. Enjoy mouth-watering food and a wide variety of handcrafted mixed drinks. With our attached parking deck, access is always hassle-free. Make your next night out unforgettable at Bunkers.
J.A. Smith Construction, licensed general contractor and your trusted choice for land clearing and grading, site work, underground utilities, concrete paving, and material hauling. They also do storm drain installations, fish ponds, and slough dredging. Call Alexander at 256-896-1400 or email asmith@jasmithconstruct.com. No job is too big or too small for J.A. Smith Construction, the top choice for all of your land service needs.
Chick-fil-A is always the best option when you're on the go, but they are also great when it comes to planning your next event, from tailgating to birthday parties to weddings. Call Chick-fil-A Alexander City at 256-289-7955 for catering, or order on the Chick-fil-A app. Make sure to choose the Alexander City location and have your catering order ready to go. Nugget trays, mac and cheese trays, fruit trays, cookie trays, gallons of our famous lemonade or tea, and chilled grilled chicken sub sandwiches, and a lot more options. Make it Chick-fil-A Alexander City for your next event. Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz. A few segments left in today's show. Halfway through the program means it's time for Pepper Tree Steaks and Wine. Pepper Tree Steaks and Wine on East Glen and Auburn, and in Pepper Tree down in Montgomery. We can't say enough about them. They do such a great job. Their food is unbelievable. They got specials going on right now, Easter specials. And, you know, Andy and I talked about this yesterday, Randy. Beef tenderloin, mashed potatoes, and green bean salad and rolls for 8 people for $245, or 4 people for $125, pre-cooked or uncooked. And also have the pork tenderloin for 4 for $75, or 8 for $145. Or you can do the spiral ham or Boston butt, which serves 10 to 12 people for $150, which includes 2 sides, rolls, and you got all these sides to pick from. Not only is the food great, it's for the price, it's unbelievable. I mean, go to a restaurant and see if you can feed 4 people for $75 at the quality that they're serving you.
You can't do it cooking for yourself.
You can't, dude.
You go buy cuts of meat now, and and look at the difference and then decide how much time it's going to take for you to go home and do it. And I enjoy cooking and always have liked it. But you'll question it. There's nowhere near the savings doing it yourself that there once was. I'll say that. Things have changed. Hopefully inflation will come back down at some point in time, but we'll see how this all plays out.
Yeah, I'm sick of it, to be honest with you. Every little thing. I mean, I told a story on here yesterday. I won't repeat what I said, but you can go to Walmart and literally come out of there and you go, did I spend $300?
Easy.
Like, on what?
Yeah.
Like, you're looking at, did I leave a bag or 10 in there at the register? Did I have a momentary lapse of memory that I didn't pick up all my bags? And I look in the car and there's like 3 bags in there and it's like $300 worth of stuff. It's ridiculous. All right, so let's move on to spring football practice. I'll just kind of give my thoughts on this. There's a couple of guys on the offensive side that we're going to look at. But really the starting 3 wide receivers that you're going to look at are going to be Malcolm Simmons, Cam Coleman, and probably Eric Singleton, Randy. Those are going to be the guys that stand out and garner the starting role. Now, here comes the question. Horatio Fields, the transfer from Wake Forest, is really doing well in spring, but Sam Turner is turning, like no pun intended, turning everybody's head. He's a true freshman. I mean, going to be hard to keep him out of the lineup and keep him out of that rotation. And then we haven't even talked about Perry Thompson and what kind of strides he made from last year to this year, or Bryce Cain. I mean, you got, 8 guys in that wide receiver room that are really good players. Some transfers, some freshmen, some second-year guys. This is loaded, man. This is loaded as a position as we've ever seen.
Just need the quarterback play to match it. You can have as loaded a room as you could ever ask for if you don't have somebody that can consistently get it to them and make some big plays with their legs to get them some big plays down the field.
Right.
It's going to be difficult. So I'll stick with that. There's no question in my mind we've got plenty of talent in the receiver room to compete in the SEC, and if you can compete in the SEC, you can compete with anybody in the country. Just got to get our quarterback play up. You know, I'll stick to the 2 that you and I are the one that you and I have seen the most. I'm proud for Malcolm. There's no surprise at all to me that after a year in the weight room and after as good a season as he had as a freshman, where he just kind of found his way. You know, he wasn't necessarily a starter, but he got a lot of time, and there was a lot of buzz even going into the season about his athleticism. But this is a massive 3-sport guy in high school. At a school where when you're playing 3 sports in 6A ball, there's not an awful lot of time outside of that for you to go and concentrate on anything. Now, he's one of the best kids we've had come through Ellick City, so it's not that he was in trouble ever. That wasn't the case. I mean, he was a hard-working kid. But, you know, you're going to take massive strides when you come out of that. You know, we got a kid, you know, that 3-sport athlete, and Gabe Benton, that has finally decided to go and just play baseball now. And Gabe's had an amazing year just by concentrating on one thing. And Malcolm should have been an all-state basketball player. Probably needed another win or 2. That's how basketball works. I mean, you lose. We had a great season, but if you lose and you don't go down, there's only a few spots to make those all-state teams. That's how good he was. He's 18 to 20-point-a-game basketball player.
Right.
And he left track and field holding the long jump state championship or the long jump state record that he stole from Orlando Waters from in the early 90s. That's how long that record had lasted. And then he missed out on winning breaking the high jump state record by, I think, a half an inch. And as a 3-sport athlete that doesn't concentrate on anything, to be that type of a player in anything is going to be an amazing feat. And, you know, I'm expecting massive strides from him this year, and I know that you are too, Brett.
No, I absolutely am. I think he's going to definitely do that. And, you know, you said it. I mean, there's 2 things that has to happen. You said the quarterback. but the offensive line's got to be able to give the quarterback time to do the things he needs to do to get him the ball. All right, defense kind of ruled the scrimmage this past weekend. It was a different look. Saturday had a scrimmage, and then you had Big Cat weekend all kind of sandwiched in there. We talked about this yesterday on the podcast, Kieran Crawford and Amaris Williams. Amaris Williams is going to be a guy that I think we didn't see very much of last year, and Jason and I talked about this, and he's going to come on this year, and that was a huge retention piece for Auburn. He was in the portal, maybe looked like he's going to go to North Carolina, and then he comes back to Auburn. So he turned some heads. Kieran Crawford, I love his motor. I love what he was able to do last year. Also, J.J. Faulk, Keldrick Faulk's brother, Randy, he already looks the part. I know some freshmen come in. I told you Jared Smith, he's massive, but he's thin in the lower half. J.J. Faulk's not thin anywhere, and he's getting a look at linebacker, and apparently he had a pretty good scrimmage on Saturday as well.
Well, your eyes don't deceive you. And if you do look, there was a player last year that we saw on the defensive side that you and I called his quarterfinal game in 6A the year before, Malik Blockton, and I just didn't feel he was a wonderful player. He was the best player on the field that night outside of Malcolm, but I didn't think Malik would be ready, but then my eyes told me different when I saw him at Auburn. He had put on 25 pounds already, Brett, and looked the part, and made an immediate impact last year on that football team. So if your eyes tell you he's ready to go, on a team where we're still probably, you give us another year, I think another year of recruiting, then we can be at a top-notch level on the defensive side. Oh, yeah. We're still very young. Very, very young, and leaning on a lot of talented kids to make big plays on the defensive side of the ball.
Got some comments coming in. We'll get to those when we come back on the other side of this break. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
This is Joseph Dean with Frederick Dean Funeral Home and Crematory. I am pleased to announce that Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation is now open to serve the public at our location on the corner of 49 North and 280 West in Dadeville. Please stop by and see lifelong resident of Dadeville, Molly Kaler, who will be running the office and meeting with families who want to plan ahead and pre-need their services. We are also available by phone 256-750-0381 or online at lakemartinfuneralhome.com.
Bucks Island is your boating headquarters. Are you ready to hit the water and go boating this summer? Bucks Island has all kinds of boats, with one sure to fit exactly what you want. Fishing boats, sport boats, pontoon boats, and all with low monthly payments. Call 1-800-I'm-READY. Bucks Island Service Department experts are also here for you to keep your boat in top running condition. Call 1-800-I'm-READY. Don't be left standing on the bank this summer. Visit online at bucksisland.com and don't buy a boat till you get a Bucks quote.
Looking to transform your outdoor space? Look no further than Bama Sheds. As a family-owned and operated business, we understand your needs. That's why we offer no credit check, rent-to-own options. Enjoy free delivery and setup within 35 miles of our 4 convenient locations. Whether you need a shed, pole barn, garage, or carport, we've got you covered. Visit our website at bamasheds.com or call 256-268-8484. Bama Sheds, where quality meets affordability and your outdoor dreams become reality.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill and Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life. EnviroCare is the standard in East Central Alabama for all your pest control and termite needs. EnviroCare exclusively offers Centricon termite colony elimination system that is the industry's most effective termite control to protect your home year-round. The EnviroCare team's service is also the standard for our customers. From eliminating home pests to superior termite control, nobody cares like EnviroCare, serving Lake Martin and East Central Alabama.
Grain and Leaf, located at 6068 Highway 63 South, is Lake Martin's premier boutique-style bottle shop with a unique array of sophistication for everyone. Appropriately named for its exclusive selection of top spirits, wine, and craft beer, Grain and Leaf also has a number of fine cigars for you to choose from. They also carry the full line of Hornsby Farms assorted jellies and pottery. Open 10 to 7 Monday through Saturday and noon to 5 on Sundays, Grain and Leaf is your premier shop in the Lake Martin area. Are you ready to showcase your skills and compete with the best in Alabama? The 42nd Alabama State Games are coming to Birmingham and Jefferson County from June 13th through the 15th, and it's your chance to be part of something incredible. Athletes from across the state will compete in sports ranging from archery to wrestling. Those participating in the opening ceremony are eligible for academic scholarships ranging from $500 to $5,000. Mark your calendar. Registration opens March 1st. Visit allagames.com.
When you want quality, selection, price, superior financing, and a pain-free buying experience, look no further than Sons Automotive Group of Montgomery and Auburn. Sons of Montgomery offers the best selection of Kias, Chryslers, Dodges, Jeeps, and Ram trucks. Conveniently located on Eastern Boulevard, Sons Ford of Auburn is the region's Ford volume dealer. And when you shop at any Sons location, they will maximize all incentives and financing options for anyone's credit. Whether Kia, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram in Montgomery, or Ford in Auburn, Sons Automotive treats you like family because they are family driven.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz. A couple segments left in today's show, kind of wrapping up our talk about spring football and the scrimmage from this past weekend. Maybe one of the more important parts that we haven't talked about is Alex McPherson being back. So McPherson, continuing to make a comeback from a season that was pretty much taken away from him from that intestinal issue that he was having, getting stronger. I think all the coaches are pleased with what he's doing and his progression. So, look, I go back and look at, and I know Towns Magoo and the other kid that came in that really played well at the end of the season, but kicking game was lacked a lot to be desired this past year. And some guys got thrust into the picture that had to be, and it wasn't anybody's fault. But, there were several games where Auburn could have made a field goal and probably won the game. Oklahoma being one of those, where you're up 21-10 into the fourth quarter. You had driven down there. Oklahoma hadn't shown any sign of doing anything. And Towns Magoo missed a chip shot field goal, and it gave Oklahoma some momentum, and they turned right around and made a huge play down the sideline for a touchdown. And now all of a sudden, 21-10 is a 21-17 game. And so, yeah, it just – and then you make the mistake Peyton Thorne makes, and you look up and you're getting beat. And Auburn had that game in full control. They'd only made one offensive play to that point, and that was that long run on the first drive of the game. Auburn had pretty much shut them down offensively for the rest of the game. But that's how fast it could turn around. And you make that field goal and you kick off. Now you're looking at, a 2-touchdown game, and Oklahoma hadn't been able to drive the football at all. We're probably pinning our ears back a little bit, bringing some pressure. Whereas when you miss it, now it changes the whole flow of the game. So my point is that we missed our kicking game tremendously last year.
We did. But, for no fault of the kid or no fault of the program,
yeah, right.
No fault of recruiting. When you have something very odd in a position where you don't hold a lot of scholarship guys there. And, we were lucky enough to go out and get Towns at the very last second, and he was committed to Ole Miss. And then I believe that last day commits back to Auburn. And if we didn't do that, we were going to end up with a red shirt, or not a red shirt, but a walk-on that would have been the kicker.
Who actually won the game for us against Texas A&M. Let's be honest, man. He had to make some unbelievable kicks there in overtime and just some pressure-packed situations where that game was going to slip away from us if he doesn't step up and make some plays. So I know ultimately our defense stopped Texas A&M from scoring there in, what was it, the third overtime or whatever. But bottom line is that, man, you got that kid that came in who was at Birmingham Southern.
Yeah.
And he comes over and he makes some key kicks to help us win the game. So some comments coming in. Travis said plenty of talent offensively. This could be a huge improvement this year. Interested to see if Jackson or Deuce, if it's Jackson or Deuce. Sounds like both played well in the scrimmage. Deuce scored in the scrimmage. So
I'm sticking with my guns here. I haven't seen enough of Jackson Arnold. I watched high school film. I knew he was a major 5-star plus athlete. I watched him the same as you did at Oklahoma. Good player.
Yeah.
I don't sense greatness, but we'll see if greatness can be pulled out of him.
Played a lot better at the end of the season last year.
Yeah, he had his moments, but he was not some world beater. My eyes tell me the ceiling's a lot higher on Deuce.
Oh, I will definitely think that.
But you don't have but a certain amount of time with these kids. I mean, these kids don't have patience anymore. There is no Damian Craig sitting over there waiting till his third year to get out there on the field. That ain't happening. That's over. Those days are over.
Right.
Forget it. And if that's what you expect to come back, then you're going to – these major guys that you go out there and fight for, you're going to have to pick one or the other really soon if they're both young guys.
Right.
So if Auburn goes this year in the high school ranks and gets a top-notch guy, they're going to throw him in the mix with those up. I mean, you got to
That's why I said I
choose.
just don't think there's that much of an importance, in this particular class, quarterback-wise, because you got two really good quarterbacks. I feel in the room, then you're gonna add Daniels in there as well. I'm not throwing him to the wind, but this is obviously a 2-horse race between Jackson Arnold and Deuce Knight. And you're right. I mean, you're not going to know what the room's going to look like 9 months from now. We had every single quarterback we had this past year leave, either graduate or transfer or whatever. You got to go with the best guy at the best moment. I mean, at this current moment, and then
hope you didn't overcommit to one or the other.
Right.
That's the hard part of this. So Auburn was.
Well, we've seen it recently with Manning, with Arch Manning.
Yeah.
Sitting behind Quinn Ewers. He's waited this thing out for 2 years, which is very uncommon. And I think now, with the reason you saw Quinn Ewers exit and maybe go to the draft, whatever, and looked at going to some other schools for his last years because an ultimatum had been levied. If he comes back, I'm not, which I get it. I understand.
There is a point. There's a line in the sand that you have to draw. And, look, I'm thrilled we've got both to have the option.
Absolutely.
I think our coaching staff and Hugh Freeze have picked two really good quarterbacks for Auburn. I just hope we make the right decision and it all works out, because if it's a young guy like Deuce Knight and those guys work out, that's a long-term fix to an L that Auburn's had for a long time.
No doubt. Got to have great quarterback play to win in this league. All right, up against the final break of the show, one final segment right after this.
J.A. Smith Construction, licensed general contractor and your trusted choice for land clearing and grading, site work, underground utilities, concrete paving, and material hauling. They also do storm drain installations, fish ponds, and slough dredging. Call Alexander at 256-896-1400 or email asmith@jasmithconstruct.com. No job is too big or too small for J.A. Smith Construction, the top choice for all of your land service needs.
For air that's cool and clean, call Sensi Green. For air that's cool and clean, care about the air you breathe, call Sensi Green.
Turn to the experts at Sensigreen and find out how to get up to $1,000 in carrier cool cash rebates. Visit Sensigreen.com today to be worry-free when it comes to your home comfort and indoor air quality.
For air that's cool and clean, care about the air you breathe, call Sensi Green.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term.
Visit SignSourceNow.com to get started.
EnviroCare is the standard in East Central Alabama for all your pest control and termite needs. EnviroCare exclusively offers Sentricon termite colony elimination system that is the industry's most effective termite control to protect your home year-round. The EnviroCare team's service is also the standard for our customers. From eliminating home pests to superior termite control, nobody cares like EnviroCare, serving Lake Martin and East Central Alabama. Folks around these parts have known for a long time that Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280, is your #1 stop for automotive service and repair. At Walls Tire, you'll always find quality service at a fair price on everything from AC, name brand tires, big or small repairs, routine maintenance, towing, and more. When your car or truck needs to run right, there's one place in the area to go, conveniently located and easy to find. Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280.
Grain and Leaf, located at 6068 Highway 63 South, is Lake Martin's premier boutique-style bottle shop with a unique array of sophistication for everyone. Appropriately named for its exclusive selection of top spirits, wine, and craft beer, Grain and Leaf also has a number of fine cigars for you to choose from. They also carry the full line of Hornsby Farms assorted jellies and pottery. Open 10 to 7 Monday through Saturday and noon to 5 on Sundays, Grain and Leaf is your premier shop in the Lake Martin area.
Passion, the obsession that burns within. Determination, the burning desire to make it. Drive, the motivation to be the absolute best. Skills, the tools to perform at the highest level. Excellence, the feeling of achievement. At Central Alabama Community College, you can release your passion, show your determination, display your drive, and showcase your skills to achieve excellence. Central Alabama Community College, central to you, central to your success.
Are you ready to showcase your skills and compete with the best in Alabama? The 42nd Alabama State Games are coming to Birmingham and Jefferson County from June 13th through the 15th, and it's your chance to be part of something incredible. Athletes from across the state will compete in sports ranging from archery to wrestling. Those participating in the opening ceremony are eligible for academic scholarships ranging from $500 to $5,000. Mark your calendar. Registration opens March 1st. Visit allagames.com. All right, welcome back, everyone, to the final segment here on the Auburn Blitz. We're glad that you joined us here every day at noon, giving you an update. Also, I want you to go to our YouTube channel and subscribe. A lot of you have done that, man. We have top 3,000, and we're sprinting past that, and I think we're over 3,200 now and getting close to 3,300. I mean, it's hard to keep up with it. I mean, it's again, we appreciate all of you out there doing that. While I'm doing that, I might as well just go ahead and tell everybody what it is. I don't want to speculate and just keep throwing a number out there. But we have grown tremendously. We are right at a little bit less than 3,300 now. So really appreciate all of you out there. Go out there and subscribe, pass the word around. If you like our content, we're on every morning at 8 o'clock. Monday through Friday, and then we also do reaction shows and things like that after certain games, but we appreciate it. All right, Randy, the final poll of the AP for basketball, now that the season's over, Florida 1, Houston 2, Duke 3, and Auburn 4. You okay with that? I'm okay with it. I think Auburn deserves 3. I agree with that. I think the SEC deserves 2 of the top 3. I believe that. I don't think. I think those should be flopped. Yeah, I don't. But, probably the reason that they're giving it, and these games that when you get down the stretch, they take a lot of credence in how these games play out, and there's zero doubt that Duke just completely dropped the ball there at the end. They had that thing won, and they couldn't have finished it worse than they did. And Houston was a tough out. They were a tough out for us earlier in the year. They were. Now it was at their place. All of us were so good this year, though. What was the stat that we heard last week that 4 of the top 10 teams all time or in the last 10 years in KenPom were this year? Final 4. Yeah. How about that? Another crazy stat. All right, Tennessee comes in at 5, Alabama 6, Michigan State 7, Texas Tech 8, Maryland 9, and Michigan comes in at the top 10. So if you want to look at who Auburn played in the top 10, they played Michigan, Michigan State, Alabama, Tennessee, Duke, Houston, and Florida. So there's only, one team, 2 teams they didn't play in the top 10, and that was Maryland and Texas Tech. They played 8 of the top 10 teams in the country. And if you want to keep going down the list, 12 is Kentucky. Ole Miss is 18. A&M is 19. Arkansas is 20. And that's it for the SEC. But that's, good Lord.
Was that 4 of the top 6 teams?
Right.
In the final AP poll?
Right.
And Auburn and Alabama, again, 2 of those top 6 that you're talking about. When you get to the point where we have, and I can't remember if it was Luke or Jimmy said, but it was a great tweet that they put out a couple of weeks ago. We need to pinch ourselves. We are waking up for the 3rd time in history playing in an Elite 8 game today.
Right.
I remember, the 90s and then into the 2000s thinking, man, we made the Elite 8 in 85. That's crazy. Trying to think back and go, man, that must have been, I was young, but that was a crazy run, man. Chuck Person and they were, Frank Ford, they were good back in 85. And, now it's become a little bit more the norm, and you have to pinch yourself on where these 2 coaches have our programs.
Yeah, this young generation, man, that's all they know. Is all, and that's crazy, making Final Four.
I love telling this story. I try to tell it at least once a year. But Brett, during the Tony Barbie days, he came in here to one of the shows. This a long time ago, Brett, and you said, Randy, I ain't ever taken Braden to a game that we lost.
Yep.
I said, hell, Brett, just take him to the next Kentucky game, man. You can end that real quick.
No question about it. And we were on a streak. I just picked well, I guess, because the wins were few and far between. No question about it. But, you sit back and you look at where this program is, and now we expect to compete for championships. Yeah. And, it's not a flash in the pan.
No, I think we'll be here next year. Maybe not to this level, but who knows?
Look, here it is. You learn how to play in this tournament from a program standpoint. And the breakdown I heard from Bruce this year is the higher seeds want to survive the first weekend. That's all it is. Survive. When you get to the second weekend in the Sweet 16, Elite 8, now you can sense that the championship's within reach. And so you're going to play 2 really good teams if you make it to the Elite 8. Everybody's good, but you're in the top 16 in the country at that point.
Yep.
And then if you win a couple, you got to win a couple really gritty games, and you're in the Final Four, man.
I will say the next couple of weeks, as an Auburn basketball fan like we are now, is going to be fun.
Right.
We're going to be adding a lot of names. Alabama has already put together a crazy good roster for next year. Go look at it. It is just loaded with high-end 5-star guys out of high school and into the 4-star. Auburn's going to do that.
Yeah.
There are going to be 3 or 4 more pieces that we're going to add to the puzzle. It's going to happen. Well, we've got the money sitting on the side. We've been working on this run here, but is there any doubt in your mind that Bruce Pearl's going to put a great roster together?
Are you kidding, man?
There's no doubt in my mind either.
They're going to go out and find the guys that they feel like fit. Andy said actually it was 86. We got beat by Louisville.
Okay.
So
85, we won the SEC tournament.
Correct.
86, I got you.
86 went to the Elite 8 and got beat by Louisville. So, all right, on this day, Hank Aaron hits home run number 715 off Dodger. Do you remember who it was?
The lefty.
Al Downing.
Yep.
So in 1974 on this day, home run number 715 from Hammer and Hank Aaron. In 1994, Kent Mercker no-hit the Dodgers. So some good Braves history on this day. 74, 94.
Enjoy it.
God,
this
team is a god-awful. Like, dude, I told y'all the other day, atrocious is not the word for just to kind of give everybody an update on this disaster. Atlanta is 1-8.
Yeah.
They're at a historic bad level this year.
Great series win for Auburn baseball this weekend, though. Very close to a sweep, Brett. Had a lot of chances in Game 2 to pull that sweep off. But I don't know if you watched Game 3. I watched the replay. Good bit of that yesterday. And, man, we pitched the ball so well closing that thing out to win that baseball game 7-5, and it took it. They got a couple of runs there about the 6th, 7th inning, and then Auburn shut them down to finish things off. So,
Auburn pitching real well right now.
Yeah, they are.
All the way around.
Relief pitchers have really come in and done well.
Really performing. So, all right, it's going to wrap it up for this edition of the Auburn Blitz. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning for the Auburn Blitz podcast and right back here at noon for the Auburn Blitz show. For Randy, I'm Brett saying we've enjoyed it. We hope you have. See you tomorrow.